Sport Bar TV.
2 women a week
are killed by domestic violence.
Domestic violence doesn't discriminate.
It happens in all communities
and neighbourhoods.
What are you willing to do to stop another woman being killed?
What type of man do you want to be?
Attitude, education and no tolerance is everything.
100%.
Our teams will never give up
Or shut up
about tackling domestic violence.
So whose team are you on?
Proudly supported by the New South Wales Government.
It doesn't matter if you do it in a man cave, in your van, on your couch, with a painted face.
South Sydney!
Whatever it is, just get behind your team.
Newcastle!
Go the Knights!
Go Barra.
With your favourite cold one in your hand. Our passion, our game, our beer. Tui's new, for the love of footy.
Good afternoon and welcome to the 8th wonder of the world, Townsend Oval, here in Merewether, and it's very good to be with you for the last round of the real NRL for 2015. It's South Newcastle versus Lakes United today in what is set to be an absolute cracker. It's Sleepy's Day. South have got a special guest star in the back row, and they need to win today to make the semis. You would have to think that unless something catastrophic happens to Central tomorrow, South need to get the points today if they're going to be in the semi-finals next week. I've got Matthew Peterson with me to take you through this game. My name's Morgan Campbell. Matthew, who do you fancy today and why?
Well, big game for both teams, I think, because Lakes as well, they could almost go up into first spot and secure the premiership with a win today. So, look, I fancy South here today. I think they've got all the grades that have played here today, or close to it. I just think they'll step up with, obviously, the surprise player coming into the team, but also I think the fact that Sleepy's Day, they usually stand up for it. So I'm picking Souths.
Yeah, I reckon it's not a bad tip today. If you can't get up for a game like this, you're never going to. And we might go through the teams to start off as the players are out on the field doing the now traditional pre-match handshake, which is all very underrated and all very nice. The team for Souths is as follows. Number 1, Steve Witters. Number 2, Andrew Hodge. Number 3, Ryan Lippiat. Number 4, Tim Christie. Number 5, Joe Layton. Number 6, Scott Briggs. Number 7, Arana Tamata. Number 8, Kurt Warden. Number 9, Liam Higgins. Number 10, Brendan Simpson. Number 11, Jason Strickleton. Number 12, Andrew Ryan. Number 13, Todd Hurrell. Number 14, Ryan Glanville. 15, Luke Higgins. 16, Angelo Piccioni. And 17, Noel Tupou. Now for Lakes United, number 1, Jack Mackin. Number 2, Matt Craig. Number 3, we believe, Marcel Ikanifo. No, in fact, that's Josh Charles. I'm just looking out there now. Number 4, Marcel Ikanifo. Number 5, James Varker. 6, Jay Sullivan. 7, Brad Murray. 8, Hayden Jeans. 9, Chris Adams, the captain. Number 10, Casey Burgess. Number 11, Dylan Harton. 12, Rob Mason. And 13, Josh Hayes on the bench for them. 15, Callan Adams. 16, James DeSax. 17, Tim Harlow. And 20, Ben Sams. So all is in readiness here. We've got a big crowd in, and we're away in round 14 of the real NRL, the last round. And it's a big crowd in here today for Sleepy's Day. They're raising quite a lot of money for cancer research. Peter Sleep, one of the members of the South Newcastle Club and one of the very important people in that club, who started this concept after he himself survived cancer a few years back, and it gets bigger every year. There's 350 people alone in the prepaid area down behind the goal line over there. So it's a very big day indeed as Lakes are bringing the ball forward here through Hayden Jeans to start the first half of this game. Tom Aylett, incidentally, is our referee. Brendan Callender, and William McInnes are the linesmen. And this kick goes down. Steve Witters is going to field it. And it's a pretty good-looking chase here from Lakes as he comes back. And, well, he's got past one there. And up over to the 30, he's eventually dragged down. So, South, what can they do with the ball here early on? They've got Andrew Ryan out there lurking behind the attacking line. Just the 291 first-grade games for Parramatta and Canterbury, as we've got a stoppage here. It might have been a bit of a spear tackle, I think.
Yeah, I think just into an awkward position more than anything. Thankfully, I think all the players realised that was what was occurring, and nothing of it really in the end. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see with Bobcat. He doesn't look much different than he was when he was.
Oh, look out! That's a mistake. James Varker's pinched the kick. Dear, oh dear. So the kick for touch hasn't found touch, and that's criminal at this early stage in the game. And so instead of South being on the attack 40 metres out or more, They're now on the defensive 40 out from their own line. Sorry, do go on, Matthew.
Oh, I was just saying that all it is a bit more silver in the hair, if anything, but he's looking pretty fit for a guy who hasn't really played football for 3 or 4 years.
Yeah, that's right. As he's Brad Murray back inside the jeans. As I said, 291 first grade games for Andrew Ryan, 12 tests, 12 origins, 6 tests. As here's a run, and not a bad one either from the 11. And it's Dylan Hart in there. He's eventually taken down. They've got numbers right and left here. It's Adams to the line to Burgess. He's close, but he doesn't want to reach out from there. What can they do? Last tackle. It's out there to Murray, as you'd expect. On the toe, and it's taken very well by Strickleton. Bounced into his chest, and he reeled it in. Good bit of play, Jason Strickleton. Good reflexes close to the line. And South, well, they get away with their mistake there, and they can come away with the ball. And they're bringing it forward now through the forwards, indeed. And that's a big charge. That's what they need. They need to give the crowd a reason to cheer early on here. And this is Arana Tamata, the man who's had a pretty good impact on them so far since he came here from Tumut a few weeks back. And Scott Briggs is going to put it on the toe. And back goes Mackin. And it's not the best chase here from South, and he might have fancied getting around them there, and in the end, it was a very important tackle down there from Andrew Hodge in the 2. And there's a strip here. This will be interesting from the referee. Well, he says he's held it. He says he's held it. James Varker gets away with one, he could say. And they're bringing it forward well here, Lakes. They look eager themselves. Of course, we mentioned South needing to win. If Lakes were to win today, they'd give themselves an outside chance of snatching the minor premiership. As here's Andrew Ryan's first tackle of the day. And Brad Murray again, he'll just control the game out of there, and that's a lovely kick. Just steers it into the corner. And South, well, it's the old thing, isn't it? Give them the ball where you want them to have it. And South have got to work it away from 15 out.
Yeah, a few weeks ago, I think the impact of Arana Tamata was pretty evident in the game that South played at Cessnock in Cessnock. I think Cessnock might have blown him out of the park in terms of the scoreline, but I think Tamata single-handedly set up all 3 or 4 tries, or 2 or 3 tries that South scored that day, and was absolutely terrific. He was almost the man of the match in the losing side. So look for his impact today. I think he's going to be the key. Obviously, Scott Briggs, a pretty handy player, and Brad Murray in the opposition halves is probably three of the best halves in the competition, you'd have to say.
I think that's fair. Tamata, there's a reason he keeps getting picked up. No matter what happens at different clubs that he's been at, he's always got a chance. As there's Andrew Ryan, a bit of an ironic boo from the crowd. It's outrageous. And away they come down this short side with Tim Christie. Twisting and turning, making himself hard to put down. And they open it up again. And that looks like the big 10, Brendan Simpson. That's the second big charge he's made today. And they'll go the short. Here is Tamata. And I don't know that that's what he planned. But he gets it away. Briggs. Hurrell, the captain coach. One of only 2 captain coaches in the real NRL. And I think you'd agree we're poorer for it.
I think there should be more. I'd like to see 8.
Here's Briggs with a kick through. Witters is coming through, and he's got a bit of obstruction there, and in the end, it was a good chase through from Casey Burgess to get in his way, and now they might have a go the other way with Mackin. And in the end, they bring him down. But a good start here from both sides. Not too many mistakes in the game. And Marcel Ikanifo. There might be a hint of a penalty there. He put the ball down very early. Now Varker. Very, very big outside backs for Lakes. And this is Jeans. And now Adams away. And that looks like Dylan Harton over there. And they're over the halfway line again. They've been kicking from this position with regularity early in this game. Here's Murray. And they've got a decision to make here, the outside backs, but they do it well. And it's Hodge who brings it back. So not too much attacking flair in the game so far. As Witters goes on a run. Oh, it might be Tamata, in fact. And that's a good charge again. Brendan Simpson with another good hit up. Crowd love it. Hurrell's looming right, but they go left to Warden. They're sending the big forwards at them early here, South. That's what the fans want to see. Now here's Tamata. He looks inside. Goes himself. He's looking for Andrew Ryan. He's fumbled that one, but there's plenty of excuses. It was high and over his shoulder. But he ran the good line, just didn't get the quality of the pass.
Yeah, I think Bobcat might have needed to be as tall as the two front rows there for South. It was way over his head, and I don't think maybe even the Bobcat of 5 or 6 years ago, I don't think even would have got to that. But good idea there from Tamati. As I mentioned before, he's looking dangerous, looking very, very deadly.
Here's Casey Burgess. And they're on the roll here all of a sudden, Lakes. Sullivan, Murray, ball out the back to Mackin. And they drag him down well over there. Important tackles out wide for South. They're going to go the short here. It's Adams. He'll go himself. He'll have a snipe and he'll score. Clever, clever rugby league player. And the first try of the day for Lakes. I might have suggested it was Chris Adams. I don't think that's the case. But whoever it was a good little run. And Lakes take an early lead. It's Josh Charles who scored the try, the number 3. And it's Lakes 4, South 0.
Well, perfect gameplay here from Lakes. They've been good with ball in hand, but just been sensible. Brad Murray, he does what he does every week. He controls the game. He kicks early. He's very much like an NRL quality half in that sense that he directs everything very well. And just a bit of a worry there for South. Really the first opportunity there for Lakes, and quite simple. There wasn't really much going on. Just a strong run there from Josh Charles.
Well, as we said, South will want to be giving the crowd a reason to cheer and get behind them early. They want to be in that position of running towards the running with the crowd at their back in the second half, making plenty of racket as they chase the game. But they've got to be close enough for that to happen. As here's the kick, and that doesn't look like it's going over. It's going to drop short. Well, it was on target.
Well, the funny thing is, I think the breeze is coming from that way. That's certainly where the ocean is. It's blowing across the ground. So you mentioned the distance should have been a problem, but he fell probably 5 or 6 metres short then.
Yeah, you could see as soon as he hit it, he had the wrong club. It went straight up in the air. So 4-0, Lakes over South. And for the second time in the day, South find themselves kicking off. And a big charge again from Casey Burgess. He's done a bit of damage already in this game. It's only been 10 minutes in so far, and he's taken it up with gusto each time and busted them open. The Lakes forwards, they do look dangerous. They've based their team on that forward pack this season in those close games that they've won against West and against Cessnock. It's been the forwards who have kept getting them going forward, so that Adams and Murray can do their work, and that's what they're trying to do now. Here's Sullivan. Sullivan out the back. And that's the fullback, Mackin. Couple of tackles still up the sleeve here, and again they're in South territory already. That's the lock forward, Josh Hayes. Adams will go himself here. It's a good short ball, and here's Casey Burgess again. He's got numbers out wide if he can get to them. The tackle's missed. It's still there for Murray. It's on the ground. It's on the ground. And South have dodged one there. They've really, really dodged one. Chris Adams, he backed himself on last tackle to take the run and very nearly came up with points again.
I think a lot of it was from the play before too. Terrific sweep out to the right here, and the 5'8" for Lakes, Jay Sullivan, was very, very quick, and they just managed to get that quick play the ball from the fullback Mackin, and then that just set it up, gave enough space to Adams there, and if you give Adams too much time, you make it, and in that case, it almost paid off.
So here's Andrew Ryan. Oh, he's nearly copped a high one there. Bit of kamikaze stuff from Josh Hayes, and he's turned around on his back. They won't like that. It doesn't matter how many NRL games you've played, you don't like those tackles. He's flipped around onto his back. They're very, very nasty, and you do have to wonder why anybody does that anymore. You do have to wonder why they did it ever, but in light of things that have happened in the last 12 or 18 months, why you'd pick a bloke up like that and dump him on his back, I'll never know. So South have a penalty in a good position.
Judging by that sort of play, I think that Bobcat might be in for a tough afternoon. I think he might have a target on his head.
It does
to
happen.
a certain degree. And yeah, you're right, especially maybe not in a malice way, but guys really want to be able to prove, I want to prove myself against a guy who was at the top level of football for a very long time.
Yeah, that's right. He's played 2 games since he retired. He's played a couple of games for Dubbo Sims. But apart from that, he hasn't had many runs. You reckon I heard him last night talking about it as here goes a run from Strickleton, and he's met very strongly down low from Chris Adams. Doesn't matter how big they are, he hits just as hard. And they go to the right with Briggs. And that was Warden looming out wide. And now it's Hurrell. Out the back to Tamata. Long ball out there to Christie. Christie's not far away. Christie's not far away at all. He's over. And South are back level. Tim Christie. Too strong in the one-on-one. And it's 4-all.
Out of nothing, I think. Really out of nothing there. He just kind of... The Lakes defenders just kept drifting with him, and he just took that one step too many and just got enough to get around him and in between the winger and the centre there for Lakes, but too easy, I feel. Christie did remarkably well, but if you're the Lakes defence, you'd be kicking yourself there. They really shouldn't have let him get through so easily.
Yeah, pretty soft, wasn't it? There wasn't a lot of guile or craft about the play. They just went wide, and Christie got into a one-on-one tackle, got through it and scored. Sort of thing that had upset a coach the week out from the finals. So Scott Briggs is going to tee this up. I'd imagine he'll be getting a mixture of encouragement and advice from the hospitality tents down there, which are full of South's old boys and South's current boys. And
I don't know about the quality of the advice this late in the afternoon. The 350, I think, have been here for the majority of the day, so
yeah.
I think a few of them might be... Maybe under the influence of 1 or 2.
Look, it's possible, and I'd say the quality of the advice will only degenerate as the afternoon goes on. Perhaps it's for the best that South are running the other way in the second half. As here's Scott Briggs. Nope, that won't be going... Oh, hang on. Oh, it bent back. No. It looked for all money like it was going wide, and it did, but it had a bit of a dip back along the way. But it's 4-all. All locked up. 14 minutes into the game here at Townsend Oval. I think it's my favourite ground in the real NRL to come to, you know. Just because it's picturesque. It's beautiful. You get the sea breeze and the very cruel barbecue tent, which is situated in front of the grandstand with the smell of the cooking meat just permeating.
I feel it's a commentator's worst nightmare. All I'm thinking is barbecue now.
I can envision you dropping the microphone or taking it with you down to the tent in the second half to get involved in a steak sandwich. So Strickleton takes it up. Very easy to spot in that headgear. And that might give South a bit of spring to have got a try early on here. And they seem to be rolling forward pretty well. Now they go short. That's the big front rower, Simpson. The props having a big impact already for South today. Simpson and Warden making good metres. Here's Briggs. It's his first go over on that side, and he's turned it over, and there might be trouble here because Ikanofo fancies this, and he bumped off Briggs and kept going. But they eventually take him down. He's done plenty of damage running the ball this season, Marcel Ikanofo. And as I say, he fancied it again. And here's Mason. They've had a few mistakes in them in the last few minutes, South, despite the try. Hayes. Oh, well, penalty. Too long in the tackle there. Simpson and Ryan. Took too long, held him down. So they'll start a new set. Didn't advance too far as metres go. And away they go again. And this is Mason. He's met very strongly. That was an NRL tackle if ever there was one. Andrew Ryan. Bump, have that. They wouldn't want to wind him up. Here's Casey Burgess. Now Adams, and that's a good tackle. That's a ripper, but he gets it away. But Murray will turn that over. That was good defence there from South. They got up and rushed them. Didn't give them any time. And Liam Higgins it was who snapped the ball away from Adams. And Murray couldn't handle. Now here's Tamata. Counter-attack from South. He might be heading over the sideline. But he gets it back in field. Well done. The linesman had a long look at that one. But they're willing to go from side to side. Here's South. Now there's a high tackle. And there's a bit of advice from the crowd here for the referee. I think it'll just be a penalty and maybe a warning. I must admit it was right behind the pillar here in the grandstand.
They're very thin pillars too. That was very unfortunate.
So it was beautifully timed that it happened to be right in the line of sight. What's he going to do here, referee Aylett? Just have a word?
I think riot act being red.
Yep. It's an oldie but a goodie. I think he might be getting a bit of riot act back here from Adams. It seems like a two-way dialogue. So South, as we expected, do get the penalty. And, well, they can put themselves right on the front foot here as they start a set inside Lakes half. Done that too many times today so far. 16 minutes into the game, 4-all. And Scott Briggs is lurking at first receiver here and looking for a pass. And Tamata, they're going to go for an attack early here. Tamata stepping. He's very hard to stop, and he gets the offload away. Now Ryan. Ryan's looking for the pass. Now Christie. Christie's passed one. Christie still going. Finally, he's dragged down. But that was good class from their NRL connections there, South. And now there's a short ball. Hurrell got smashed, but it's play on. Briggs, they're running sideways. They had them scattered out there on the right. But the ball went down from Ryan Lippiatt. And that's a lost opportunity. They really had them rattled there.
They're certainly looking dangerous on the left here, South with Tim Christie a few times. It's just looked like he's going to sneak his nose around the opposing late centre. But also Todd Hurrell, the captain coach for South, hit very hard by Chris Adams. Probably maybe a touch late. Probably not enough to warrant a penalty, but certainly made him feel it because he's been down for a few minutes and he's just sort of slowly making his way over to the scrum now.
Interesting conflict for a captain coach, isn't it? He's got to think, well, I would quite like to go off, but I don't know if we can spare the interchange.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. It's a tough gig. That
was a competitive scrum. Hang on, no, we can't have that. That hasn't been allowed for 20 years. Oh, we've got a scrum penalty.
Oh,
well, there you go. It's 1985 is upon us. I'm wearing a Newtown Jets jersey, and we've seen a scrum penalty at Townsend Oval. There you go. There's an ode to nostalgia.
All we need is the kicking drill now.
Look, it's not out of the question. You know what the penalty would have been for? Someone actually hooked in the scrum. We're not allowed to do that anymore. It's more like a communal cuddle. Here goes Adams again. He loves running in there. And they get him down this time, but the quick play of the ball means they've got a roll on. And here's Hayes. And they go back to Murray. And that's a good run over there from Charles. But they're up on him quickly. And they eventually dump him. Now Harton. As there's a change down here on the bench. Adams and Burgess. Burgess gets past one again. He's so hard to stop in there. And they're well placed all of a sudden. Adams out of dummy half. And Sullivan, he's kicking over there towards the wing. And it's a great kick. And a great catch. And a great put down. And a great try. And Matt Craig scores for Lakes. It's 8-4.
Well, that's going to be one for the Bar TV highlights, I think.
I'd reckon.
Fantastic take, but the presence to actually stay in the field, keep his body weight, and keep balance, and just be able to kind of lean out and just sort of get his arm just there. Fantastic work.
They're so good at that, wingers now at all levels, aren't they? It's one of the main skills a winger's got to have, to be able to catch it and stay in the field of play, get the ball down.
It's almost changed the game.
It has.
The last 5 years, you know, a winger can't just be a guy safe under the ball and quick. They've got to have that ability to just create something out of nothing, and the Lakes winger certainly did that in that circumstance.
Yeah, they can turn a quarter of a chance into a try, and that was terrific work. And suddenly Brad Murray's got the ball on the tee again. And Lakes lead at 8-4, just past the 20-minute mark. So the first quarter of the game behind us. And it's as entertaining and hard as we thought it would be. Of course, it's been a very disturbed season. Well, not so much disturbed, but a disrupted season. Had 6 weekends off for wet weather washout. As there's the kick from Murray. It's a beauty. Over it goes. Straight down the middle. Yeah, we've had 6 weekends off saved for potential wet weather. And since not many of them have been used, it's meant that we've just had quite a lot of weekends off. And a lot of the clubs don't like it. They've had disrupted seasons where they've had a week on and then a week off and then 2 weeks off. And, you know. But
it makes it very hard to keep track of the season.
It does. It does make it very difficult. They've arranged through the week to have 16 rounds instead of 14. I'm not quite sure how they're going to work that out. I don't think the NRL is either quite sure how they're going to work that out. But they turned down the system proposed by West to have a split after the 14 rounds and everybody play each other 3 times in the top 4. Everybody play each other once in the top 4 and in the bottom 4. As here goes Ikanofo. And it was a shame that idea got voted down. But anyway, here goes Chris Adams. And they're up over the halfway. And Souths better watch out here because they've got the roll on and the referee's allowed Adams to run. They've got an extra tackle in effect, but he's been absolutely smashed. Absolutely poleaxed by the winger, Andrew Hodge, and turned it over. What a big tackle because Lakes, they were rolling on there and they looked like they were going to really kick South in the guts. But instead, South get the ball back.
Well, South almost fell to the age-old adage of play
the age-old adage
to play to the whistle. Didn't play to the whistle there, and Chris Adams just popped up and he thought, "Oh, what a gift!" and scooted another 30 minutes. And lucky for Hodge, they absolutely cleaned him up and then forced the knock on. But yeah, escaped there again. I think South.
Unless the referee, unless you've heard the referee say held, make the tackle. That's what the coach would be saying. Now, what's happened here?
Funnily enough, it's happened behind that exact same pole for me.
For you on the left, yep. So we've got a man down over here. Just trying to get a read on who it is. We're about 4 kilometres away from the field here at in the Clark stand.
I feel we have more of an idea than the touch judge on that sideline because he's looking directly into the sun.
I'm told that because the pitch is square on, when cricket's played here, often the square leg umpire would actually officiate from the grandstand, if you can believe it. Or certainly did in the past, that you could sit up in the grandstand because if you look here, it's exactly square onto the field.
You wouldn't want a close stumping or run out.
Not from 40 yards or 50 yards away. No, I don't think I would.
With all due respect to cricket umpires too, they're not very young. And I feel there might be an issue with eyes diminishing and natural progresses of age.
Oh, look, it's possible. As here's Christie. Pardon me, not Christie. Charles with the ball. I got my centres confused there. And here's Adams. And they're still taking it up with plenty of vigour. It's Adams again. Out the back to Sullivan. Sullivan way out the back. Dear, oh dear. I think he saw the big freight train coming for him there. As Hurrell's going to try and grass the winger Matt Craig. And he does beautifully. The coach will be happy with that tackle. As Burgess goes behind there to Murray. And Murray, well, making the best of the situation, thought he'd have a bang at a 40-20. And he's a bit of a stumble over there from the winger. But he's got it back in field and he's going to have a crack at them. And it's a good run from Joe Layton. And the crowd appreciate it because they're going to start a set from halfway. And this is Lippiatt. The backs getting involved for South, helping the forwards out. They're about to make another change. And this looks like it might be Tupou. Noel Tupou bringing it forward off the bench. And now Ryan looking for the pass. Held onto it. Widders away to Hurrell. And they've still got one tackle left. This is the last. And they go over there to Briggs. He'll have a trick shot on here. He goes back in field. Withers has got plenty of pace if they let that bounce. And they do let it bounce, but they get away with it. Now there's a high shot on Sullivan. And the referee's going to say it's an illegal high shot. And he's going to call somebody out. Who does he want to chat to here? Well, there you go. Don't do it again. Yep, fair enough. Okay.
There's been a lot of that today.
There's been a bit of in-chambers conversation. You're quite right. Now, what about the kick for touch from Brad Murray? He's kicked that from about 10 metres out from his own line, if that, and put it out on the halfway line. And so they come forward with Harton. And the swings of this game. South on the attack, all of a sudden Lakes on the attack. And here's Tim Harlow bringing it forward. The oldest player in the real... Well, no, sorry, not the oldest player in the real NRL, because, of course, Lakes have got Craig Smith registered, but certainly at 39, Tim Harlow gives it a shake. Here's Sullivan. He's gone past a couple of tackles that he shouldn't have got past. There was some poor defence there from South, but he goes down eventually. Now Adams with a ball out the back to Harlow. You could see what he was trying to do, but Harlow couldn't keep it. That was crafty play from Adams, but it comes to nothing. And again, South survive.
Really like the look of Sullivan, the 5'8", for Lakes, quick. Really, really quick. In Murray and Adams, they've got the organisers, but I think with Sullivan, they got that X factor. He's been looked really dangerous this afternoon.
Yeah, pace is one thing, but a change of pace, that's the really dangerous thing, isn't it? You saw that there.
He just made it look so easy to get around Andrew Ryan in that last set of 6. Just one step and he was gone.
Yeah, went through the gears very well. Now South bringing it off their line. They need their forwards here. They might get some help from the referee. That's probably the best piece of milking I've ever seen not come to a penalty. That was all very exuberant there.
It's descending in the ruck here.
Oh dear, oh dear. Knock on.
I feel that it's turning a bit... This ground is obviously used for cricket, but it's also used for rugby union. Some of these play the balls have been a bit more reminiscent of a rugby union ruck rather than a rugby league play the ball.
You're quite right. Those last two were absolutely glacial. And the ball eventually came out there. So Lakes, well, they get another chance. And they've set out very deep, aren't they? You notice you don't see this often in rugby league anymore. But the 5'8" is set out 10 metres back. And they go through the gears here. Here's Mackin, and he's past one. And Christie drags him down. Good tackle. Now Ikanofo. They're going to send all the cannons at them. That's a good run. There's 4 of them. They had to form a subcommittee to drag him down. Adams is scheming here. Goes flat. Murray out there. This might be Harton. It's not. It's Hayes. Harlow into dummy half. Away to Murray again. He's looking for the kick. There might have been a hit of offside about that. But they've got it out anyway, South. The kick on third tackle didn't come up for them. And South can bring it away. Not very convincingly. Oh, what's he doing? What on earth is he doing? Dear, oh dear. Well.
That was speculative.
Speculative? He's very unlucky because he's got the coach on the field with him. And surely he's going to have a word there. It's going to be a dropout. But what on earth was he thinking? On his back, in the in-goal, hurling it up in the air. That made Justin Hodges' pass look like a safe bet.
I thought about the second or third tackle there. South on their right side defence was shot for all money. I think Lakes had about 4 or 5 players out there and South had 2. So, again, they're probably pretty lucky to escape that and that pass. That could have been a very dreadful way to concede a try.
Yeah, they've got the wobbles at the moment, South, and Lakes are coming for them. They're lucky to have survived as long as they have, but how long can it last? Oh, it's going to last a little bit longer. Well, we've been talking up Chris Adams all day and all season. He's thrown a forward pass there. Ben Sam's running onto it, and they got the timing wrong.
Well, we've had half an hour of pretty terrific football, but I have to say the last 2 or 3 minutes, it's been very stop and start and hasn't been the free-flowing game it was for the 30 previous minutes. I think if you were Todd Harrell, let's just get down to the other end, put a kick down there and make Lakes build out from there. But, it certainly has descended a little bit, this game, in the last 2 or 3 minutes.
Yeah, you're quite right. Here's Andrew Ryan again. He's had a good shift already, 30 minutes. He must be feeling all right. I was beginning to say a little while ago, I heard him on the radio last night say that he thought he was all right in the legs, but he didn't know how he'd go with the contact. Well, 30 minutes to go in the half. He's going to get some more contact here, but he gets it away to Christie. 30 minutes into the half. He's still out there, and now he's playing dummy half. Now Tamata showed it to Hurrell, didn't give it. Now Briggs. They've got numbers out there if they can use them. That's a very good ball. And Lippy gets over there and dragged down. And now they're rolling forward pretty nicely. Here's Tupou. And Briggs. And Briggs sticks it on the toe in there. It's a dangerous one, and he's bowled him. He's bowled him middle stump, but they're going to say play on. Surely not, referee. Surely not. Oh, an insult to injury. He's given a penalty. Well, there'll be civil unrest. He's binned him. Look out. He sent someone to the bin. It'll be Scott Briggs, I think. And now he wants to go back and have a word to somebody. Scott Briggs has been sent for 10. 10 minutes before half-time. And I think it must only have been for back chat. There was a knock-on from Lakes coming off their own line. It wasn't called. And as he then blew the penalty against South, Scott Briggs has obviously had a word, and he's been sent for 10 minutes. Well, what a thing to happen when you're playing for your season.
Well, that's totally changed the course of this last 10 minutes. Big chance. If anything, South should have got the ball back there. I thought Jay Sullivan, for all money, knocked that on. And I think while we might have a bit of a partisan crowd here today, I think the majority of it thought that it was as well. But to have Scott Briggs sent off, it's going to be a big... If they can not concede in this next 9 minutes, I think they'll be very thankful. I think Todd Hart will be happy with that. If they can go in only 10-4 behind, I think he'll take that.
Yeah, look, if we see the replay through the week and it wasn't a knock-on, then all apologies to referee Aylett. But I must say, from here, it looked pretty clear-cut. Having said that, Scott Briggs has probably played enough first-grade games to know you can't gob off at the referee. And, well, he's taken the action he felt he needed to take, Tom Aylett. It's one of those things, isn't it? I mean, players in the heat of the moment do say things, but you don't know what he said. And Aylett obviously wasn't copying it, whatever it was. Now, here's a good ball from Jay Sullivan to Callan Adams. And now Chris Adams down the short side. And that's DeSax on the field. And Lakes can make them hurt now. They've got the man advantage. There's 8 minutes to half time, but they can't make them hurt because Sullivan's dropped this one for sure. And I think there's a sense of vindication in the crowd. I think a few of them might have felt they got a bit of justice there. The only trouble is it's 80 metres further up, I think.
And Sand's a player.
Yep.
They just need to be sensible here, South. They just got to know if they can get through to half time, Briggs will basically be back on the field once a minute. Yeah. So if they can survive this, they've certainly done well, because I think Lakes have had far more opportunities, and I think South have presented a lot of opportunities to them. But to go in 10-4 behind, I think they'll be pretty happy with that.
Try something on here. This is an interesting tactic. Steve Withers has had a crack at a 40-20. It hasn't worked, and all of a sudden they've given the ball up. As Barker brings it back. I reckon that's a bit of a mistake from South, kicking early in the tackle. When you're a man down.
So they went for the 40-20 rather than, I can understand, trying to drill it into the corner and really bury Lakes down their own end, but it was kind of a bit of a speculative play, really trying to chance his hand, and yeah, I agree with you. I think what they need to do is just be sensible.
So dangerous over there. He's carved teams up all year doing just that. Now out the back it comes. And that's the 20. That's Ben Sams on the field. He's had a couple of runs already. Now Adams again, sniping, long ball, here's their numbers. It's Harton, he didn't throw it when they had the numbers. Now there's a bit of hello chick stuff. He throws it around, and it's ended up being a big tackle on James for Sacks. And South survive again. Well, there you go. I think Harton might be getting a word from the coach. Because there, and he took it on himself. Might have been an alright play 13 on 13, but 13 on 12, you'd think he'd throw the pass. Now there's a penalty. So a bit of a lift here for South. They're not quite halfway through Scott Griggs' time in the bin.
Yeah, but it was a terrific tackle there from Andrew Ryan actually on Mackin, because if Mackin could have broke free, I think, from that last tackle, he would have had 3-on-1. But so it was really important tackle from him. I've actually been quite impressed. He's made some really, really strong runs for a guy. Again, as we mentioned, he hasn't played football for 3 or 4 years. Hasn't looked out of place, and I think it's been the same with other guys who have come back. Matt Cross as well. I feel the few games he played for Central looked good, and Craig Smith as well. It's not just a novelty. I think these guys are really bringing something back to Newcastle Rugby League.
It takes a certain competitiveness to get to that level, and I don't think it goes away. Here goes Andrew Ryan into a gap. There he goes, and he's throwing it through the pass. And he'll be very disappointed because instead of finding Tim Christie, he found a bit of blue and gold. Well, he ran the line like he was back playing for Parramatta in the early 2000s, just strolled through like the passer was Brad Drew or Jason Taylor. But Lakes come up with the ball. I tell you what, if South had scored a try, a man down, what a lift that would be. And instead they're on the defensive, and Ikanofos bring it back. They haven't had any sin-bin catastrophe so far, and that's got to be a lift to the confidence in and of itself.
That's the big thing with South. They're certainly creating probably a lot more than Lakes have, and the amount of opportunities that Lakes have got. So I think they're not going to be worried about being able to score points. It's how many points they're going to have to score to make up.
Here they go again. That's been put down on the short side again. They wanted to run the ball there, and I think it was DeSax again who's ended up with it on last tackle. There's some hands on heads out there. Some of the South players are battling a little bit, not least the captain coach who had the hands behind the head, taking in a few big deep breaths. But they live. Now there's a little, especially on this left-hand side. Here's Tomato. Good short ball there. He's still going. What a good run that is by the 15, Luke Higgins. That was a proper charge. Now Andrew Ryan playing dummy half. Christie. Still Christie. They haven't stopped playing, certainly not in attack. Now Tomato. He's going to go the chip kick. Witters, as I said, he's got plenty of pace if he gets the bounce. And they might force a dropout here. They have. They forced a dropout. What good play. Matt Craig felled in the in goal. And they've almost had the better of this 10 minutes.
And it's exactly the play they needed. They really needed to keep Lakes down here, and they've done that perfectly. So we've got a stoppage here.
So a stoppage here before the dropout. And I don't think Lakes would have expected to be dropping the ball out from their own posts, having a one-man advantage. So the kick goes down, it's speared down. Oh no, it's a mistake! It's another mistake, and it's into touch. Well, that's a sickener. That's a real sickener. Lakes, well, they've got away with it. South having forced a dropout. Spilled the ball into touch. And so they feed the scrum, Lakes. And they might have an attack here. They have. And Craig's got the ball, and he's got a bit of pace if he can get past him. He tried to get past his man over there, Andrew Hodge, but he made the tackle well. Now we can Ofo. He's having a go from close. And now Mackin. And Ryan goes in low and brings him to ground. Callan Adams now. 1:06 left in the half. Adams, oh, he's lost it. He's lost it again. And it looks very much now like South are going to survive to half-time without letting in any points. And credit to them for that. Lakes have made it easier. They've spilt the ball 4 times in that 10 minutes. But South have kept turning up in defence and thrown a bit at them in attack.
And again, Todd Hurrell's giving Jay Sullivan a little bit of a face palm, a little bit of a hurry up. But yeah, you're right, certainly right. South have been absolutely terrific in this last 10 minutes. They've actually probably looked the best of so far in the whole game, I think.
And Tamata's going to really take a risk here. He's going to kick this downfield, and Witters is going to chase. And if he gets the bounce, there'll be trouble. He doesn't get the bounce. Well, nobody really got the bounce, but they're going to say a knock on and a South feed. And you could see the extraordinary scenario of a team with 12 men packing a scrum to try and get it in before half time. Well, a bit of enterprise from Marana Tamata. So Hurrell feeds the scrum, and Tamata, you'd imagine he'll have another go here. He has, and here comes the winger. He's chasing through. There's a lost ball from Mackin. He had Andrew Hodge for company, but it's over the dead ball line, and that's the half. And South, well, they're entitled to be very pleased with the way they finished that first half, because they could have really had the game get away from them there, but they dug in and had a bit of a go themselves, and in the end they'd be pretty content to be going in at 10-4 down at half-time. Matthew, your thoughts on the first half?
Yeah, I really thought that South had the best of that last 10 minutes, but in saying that, though, I think Lakes will be a little bit disappointed that they didn't capitalise on all the opportunities South presented to them throughout that half, but I think South will take a lot from that last 10 minutes, a real lot. I think with Briggs coming back on with basically after half-time, I think they can really capitalise on all the good work they've done in that last 10.
Yep, quite right. Good for morale. So we'll be back in a few minutes with the second half here at Townsend Oval. It's 10-4, Lakes leading South.
Real guys, real sport, Bar TV.
2 women a week
are killed by domestic violence.
Domestic violence doesn't discriminate.
It happens in all communities
and neighbourhoods.
What are you willing to do to stop another woman being killed?
What type of man do you want to be?
Attitude, education, and no tolerance is everything.
100%.
Our teams will never give up or shut up
about tackling domestic violence.
So whose team are you on?
Proudly supported by the New South Wales Government.
It doesn't matter if you do it in a man cave, in your van, on your couch, with a painted face.
South Sydney!
Whatever it is, just get behind your team.
Newcastle!
Go the Knights!
Go Para!
With your favourite cold one in your hand. Our passion, our game, our beer. Tui's new, for the love of footy.
Welcome back to Townsend Oval for the second half of the last round of the season for both these sides. It's South Newcastle and Lakes. Lakes lead at 10-4 at half-time, a half full of colour and movement and a fair bit of controversy as well, Matthew. As, we saw a sin bin into Scott Briggs. He's about to come back on within the first minute of the second half. Both sets of fans are upset with the referee. The South fans have been giving it to him the whole first half. One of the Lakes fans apparently told him to put a white shirt on as he left the ground. So he's upset everybody. And maybe that's a sign of a good refereeing performance when everybody in the ground hates you. But
I think so. I think that's the old... I think... Yeah, whereas a ref should neither be seen nor heard. Well, The ref today certainly hasn't adhered to that mantra, but it's a beautiful day. It's an absolutely gorgeous day for rugby league. It's almost perfect rugby league weather, I'm going to suggest. It's not too cold. The 4 o'clock chill hasn't set in.
Give it time.
Well, wouldn't be the 4 o'clock chill then, would it?
Well, it's not quite 4 o'clock yet, but it's usually right on time. It might get a little bit, so it's 3:56 on my watch, so I reckon in about 4 minutes' time, the 4 o'clock chill will be upon us. Even if it's the 4:15 chill, it'll be here, don't worry. Anyhow, Lakes are about to kick off. It's myself, Morgan Campbell, and Matthew Peterson with you for Bar TV, bringing you the second half here at Townsend Oval. And South are going to let this bounce and bring it back. They had a heartening finish to that first half. They managed to survive with 12 men, and they haven't managed to survive the first tackle of the second half because it's been dropped. And that's a terrible way to start the second half. Luke Higgins, he's put it down. And well, what an opportunity for Lakes here. Straight away. So the scrum is where this could really hurt them here. As the ball goes in, and it's out there to Sullivan, and he gives it straight away to Wikanofo. And Andrew Ryan drags him down. Andrew Ryan still on the field, played the full first half, and was pretty good. He made some great tackles, made a couple of busts and threw a few offloads. And he looks like he's enjoying himself out there. As Scott Briggs comes prowling back onto the field, he'd want to get a move on because they're attacking this side. Here's Murray, and they're going to score with Mackin. Only seconds before Briggs comes back onto the field. Mackin goes over. Lakes 14-4 up. And Scott Briggs, well, I reckon Mackin went through that gap just as Briggs' left foot went over the sideline.
And I think as well, that try probably wouldn't have been scored with an extra player out there. It was just a overlap from Lakes. It wasn't a chance created through skill or power or a break in play. It was simply just the fact that they had more numbers on the field, and that played out as so. And as you said, the cruel irony, isn't it ironic, Alanis Morissette style?
Yep, don't you think? Yep.
That Scott Briggs, you're right, as soon as his foot hit the ground, I think they fell over for the try.
They cop 9 minutes. They get 9 minutes where they hold them out, get the half time, receive the kickoff for the second half. You think, well, they're sweet for the 10 minutes. Drop it on first tackle and let the try in.
Can I suggest coach killer?
Well, you'll be able to see that because Todd Hurrell, as we've mentioned, he's a captain coach. He's out there, and I don't know if he's giving his team a spray, but he'd have to be pretty close. They've done all the good work, and they've ruined it. And Brad Murray's missed the kick, so it's 14-4. Only 2 and a bit minutes into the second half here at Townsend Oval, and it's ahead of them now, South. They're 10 points behind and chasing the game.
It's been a very colourful last 15 minutes of rugby league. There's been a send-off. There's been a few strange decisions. That there of Briggs coming back onto the field and them scoring, it's been awfully strange and, well, thoroughly entertaining, which is the
Certainly
best part.
That. As Tim Harlow brings it back. Speaking of entertaining, I think the least entertained person in the ground today is the gentleman to our right up here in the grandstand, who is sporting the Central Charlestown jacket. He's the ground announcer at St John Oval, and he's here watching Central's rivals for that last final spot. He's been kicking every ball. He's been spraying Lakes when they drop it. He needs Lakes to win today so Central can make the semis.
I would imagine it's the first and only time that a Central supporter will support Lakes, considering the geographical rivalry
That's
there.
it. No, that's all out the window today. As here's Jay Sullivan over there to Murray. Murray long ball out there, and it's Charles. And Charles has passed a couple, and he's got support back on the inside. He might not need it because he's got good pace. And he finally goes down. Our Central fan to the right's gone absolutely off his head. He's louder than any of the Lakes fans. Now Murray inside, ball's on to Mackin, and Mackin got crunched. Did somebody get the number of that bus? And they're going to say it was high, I think. The linesman had a word to referee Aylett. There's a very high-stepping trainer running onto the field. The crowd love it. Now Brad Murray's in a stink. They're coming from everywhere. There's a bloke still down on the ground, so they might want to get out of the way of him. And it's all descended a little bit here.
All I can say is colourful. That's all it's been.
That's it. It's been quirky. It's been a quirky game.
But just as Lakes made that break with the centre cutting back into the middle of the field and that half break, I just had to glance over to our Central mate over there, and he was riding at home. He was riding at home, and We shouldn't. I don't think we'll know. We shouldn't name names. We shouldn't identify him because I think.
I don't know his name, so that's going to be easy.
If Lakes and Central come up against each other, I feel this could be used as evidence against perhaps his loyalty.
Yeah, no, I think it should be fine. Central, well, they've come back from a long way. They were bottom of the ladder. They were gone. And they've come back and they're in the final spots at the moment. Late South trying to knock them out today. But it's starting to go a bit wobbly for them here as Brad Murray kicks this into touch. Nothing makes me happier than a kick backwards into touch. It's beautiful.
It's almost as good as the time-wasting run backwards.
Yep, it just confuses. I always think of people watching the game for the first time. Here's Tim Harlow. He's going to go over and score. Well, what a good charge. He's done that a couple of times this year, Tim Harlow. He might not look it at 39 years old, but he's very, very strong in the upper body. And from a standing start, he's run into them, barreled them over, and got the ball down. And all of a sudden, it's 18-4.
Well, that wasn't the run of a 39-year-old. That was a run of a George or Tom Burgess of a 20, 21-year-old. That was terrific. And just, as you said, too strong. That was all it was. It was just strength and determination and just managed to pull a few South players and bump a few of them off and got over.
Now, I think there might be someone up in the press box on the other side of the field. I don't know if our cameras are picking it up. But over there on the scoreboard, I think somebody might be in denial or might be trying to pull one over the referee.
They're a try behind.
They're a try behind. It says 14-4. Now, I had to double take as I said the score, but I reckon it has to be 18-4.
I think that's right. Yeah, it was 14-4 after that last missed kick.
It was 10-4 at half-time. Lakes have scored a try. Now they've scored another. And Brad Murray could make it 20-4 here. Oh, look out.
He heard us.
There you go.
He's heard us.
Murray's put the kick over as well. So it's 20-4. And things are starting to fade here for South. They need somebody to do something about it. They need something to be found here. They've got stars in the team. They've got Briggs and Tamata. They've got Widders. They've got Andrew Ryan. Somebody's got to come up with something. As Lakes bring it back, and there's Tim Harlow, the try scorer.
I think he knocked that on, and I think the touch judge has given on this side of the field has given the signal that he's been knocked on, but the referee didn't either didn't want a bar of it or completely didn't know that the sideline referee was actually making that signal.
Oh dear, there's a bit of controversy. Nobody in the grandstand seemed to notice. They're usually pretty attentive to these things. As Callan Adams takes it forward for Lakes, they're pushing up towards halfway again. Their forwards have given them great wattage all day. They keep dragging them up the field. Now Murray, short ball at the back. There's trouble here with Mack, and he's very, very quick. Gets it away to Charles. He's got Varka, but he doesn't have Varka because it's been knocked down. It's been knocked down by Joe Layton, and what a crucial intervention that was, because if Varka had caught that, he would have been sprinting down the touchline and one-on-one with the fullback with a pretty decent weight advantage. So they've dodged one there, South. 33 minutes to go. 20 points to 4, Lakes lead it. So here's the charge out there from Andrew Hodge. They've got good value out of him today. He's taken it up a couple of times very stoutly and made a couple of very important tackles as well. And South looking for inspiration here. They give it to Andrew Ryan. And he carts it up. He was a bit, he took it at a flat-footed there. But he carted it up very strongly and took a few metres off them. Now Tamata, jinking and twisting and turning, goes down. They're up very quickly on the right-hand side, but they go the other way with Higgins. Now Tamata. They need to conjure something here. Here's Steve Widders. He stuck it on the left. It's gone a mile up in the air. Hurrell comes through. Wicked bounce. Good hands from Simpson. Can he get it away? He can, but he gets it away to a Lakes player.
It's always a big danger not going up for the bomb, especially when your fullback was there and I think it was it Warden or Simpson? One of the big tall props for South was just too tall, and he had the easiest shot at it. But yeah, again, Lakes a chance in their arm when you don't go up for them. I really think it's a bad move. It's always just lets the opposition a chance, gives them a chance to snatch the ball back.
Yeah, it's very in vogue in both the National Rugby League and the Newcastle Rugby League to let it bounce, and heavens above, I don't know why. It's very strange. As Sullivan, who, as you've mentioned, has been very good today, and that's a very good kick. I would reckon. Oh no, it's not. It's gone into touch in goal. Or has it? No, he's going to say he's going to say it's a dropout. It didn't go touch in goal. The winger thinks that it did. He's calling for an inquiry. Andrew Hodge, but the Lakes defender, Andrew Hodge, picked it up, I think, thinking that he was going to just throw it back to the 20 as an afterthought. The defenders come through and bowled him into touch, and it's going to be a dropout. Well, that was very strange.
I think Andrew Hodge was suggesting that it might have clipped the corner post.
I thought that it might have done it. It looked like it did on the way through. But anyway.
I love a bit of corner post controversy.
Well, it always happens. It's lucky it's not leaning out like the one on the other side of the field. So here's a very stout hit up here from DeSax. He took it up very strongly, and they're not far away all of a sudden, Lakes. And they're going flat here to Sams. And Sams gets a great ball away! And he's dragged down is Casey Burgess millimetres away. What a good tackle from Noel Tupou. And now there's a bit of stench. And Hurrell, well, he's been itching for a blue all day. And there's a bit of push and shove.
I think I might be Witters down in the background. He's kind of reeled off that try-saving tackle and hasn't been up since. I'm not sure whether he was a bit of collateral damage from the tackle or whether he got tied up with the goalpost. I'm not too sure. But you're right. It's just been everybody's been itching for a stink today. There's been a lot of pushing and shoving and a bit of. Well, they're not allowed to do that. I'm not sure they're allowed to punch in this level either. But there's been a lot of face slapping and occasional ball being thrown. It's been a bit of a powder keg. And
it's been a bit of niggle.
Niggle, yeah.
Niggle, yeah.
And if Phil Good was here, he would be ropeable about it, I feel.
I would imagine.
Detest the niggle.
Yeah. So here's Adams. And it's away to Sullivan, and he holds it up and gives it back inside, and this is trouble. It's Ikanofo. He's not someone you want carting it up from a run-up like that close to the line, but they got him down. Adams snapping away, and Burgess has been belted there. Might have been early, but now Briggs with the ball, and he'll bring it away. And South will latent counter-attack here as Lakes try and get back. There's a bit of niggle in that tackle as well, don't worry. And now Andrew Ryan, and he's put it down. He's put it down over there, trying to force the pass. The ball goes to ground. Lakes are going to get it back, and, well, South, they can't get out of their own way.
I don't think they can even get to the end of a set of 6. I can't really recall them finishing a set.
Well, don't let it be said that the trainers aren't doing everything they can to help. One of the trainers for South, he's gone around behind the in-goal line and walking around the bike track there has just turned to all the people in the corporate hospitality over there, all the South's old boys and whatnot, and given them the big whir up with their arms and tried to get them yelling out. And a few of them responded, but it's not a role traditionally used by trainers. But anyway, try and stir up the crowd. The part-time trainer, part-time mascot. I don't know.
Well, most trainers nowadays are an auxiliary player.
Yeah, that's right. They're usually on the field. Haven't got time. As here's Varka. 15 metres out. Beautifully placed for another attack. This would almost be a knockout at this stage in the game. Casey Burgess recovering from 2 kamikaze runs. That was a bit more traditional. Now Adams. And he's looking deep here. And Sullivan and Ikanofo. He's reeled that in well. And he'll be tough to stop. Back inside Ikanofo. Still plenty of tackles in hand here. And it's over the top to Burgess. And he's looking to play it. And goes himself. And it's an important tackle. It's a really good one. I think from Kurt Warden. It might have been Brendan Simpson. No, it's Warden. Now they go to the right with Adams. And it's taken by DeSax. He's got the ball on last tackle again. And Sams will end up with it. Well, I reckon that James DeSax, for one reason or another, has had the ball. He's been tackled on last tackle 3 times. And that's no fault of his own. You've got to wonder why he keeps getting it, because he's a forward.
Well, I think a few of the Lakes players this has happened to. They haven't put too many kicks in, and when they have put a kick in, it's usually Brent Murray from about the 40 or 50 metre line drilling it into the corner.
Andrew Ryan's just left the field after a fantastic spell. 53 minutes he's played, uninterrupted, and he got a great ovation from the fans down there in the corner. The 350 who have prepaid for their ticket were very impressed with his showing, and so they should be.
And I think his performance today has shown that it isn't just a novelty. These guys are really going to add. If guys like of his quality can come back, and even if they play a season or half a season or whatever amount of games they can play, really add to the game and really bring people into the ground.
Yeah, that's right. He's really toiled today. It's been a good showing. As Varka's taken this kick from Scott Briggs, terrific chase from South, but they're under the cosh here. They're really in trouble. Again, Lakes starting a set from close to the halfway line. They've been pretty much camped in the south half of the field since half-time. And now they've got a penalty. They can really set up camp. Hurrell's not happy about it.
Well, this set of 6 could really be South season on the line. Because if they can concede another try here, they'll go perhaps 4 tries behind, and you'd think it's a long way back from there with only 25 minutes to go. But if they can hold on here, they're still in with a crack. With guys with Tamata and Briggs, they certainly can score points. It's just a matter of not conceding them at this stage.
Yep, so here's Murray, and that's Burgess. And he's twisted about 3 metres out of them there. Now Adams, short to Sams. Carting it up, that's a good tackle, but he gets it back. And now away to Murray. Flat ball, Harton, dangerous from close to the line. Good ball away, he does too. What about the flick pass from James Mackin? Oh, what about that one? You reckon that might get on the Bar TV highlights of the season, never mind today. James Mackin with the flick pass out the back, and they've scored out wide through Josh Charles, and they've sunk the boot into South here. It's 24-4, and there's not a lot you can do about class like that.
Well, I thought I saw the offload of the season from a forward on Thursday night, Adam Blair against South Sydney, through an absolutely terrific offload. I think that's pretty close. Falling to the ground close to the line, out the back, fantastic. Can't do anything about that. It's just too much class and too much skill, and I think that could almost be the nail in the coffin for South, and potentially they've left it open for Central Charlestown for tomorrow.
Well, Central Charlestown at this stage would only have to lose by less than 70 to go through. The points difference is South started this game minus 12. Started this game minus 64. At the moment, that's minus 84 pending this kick. Central Charlestown, their record is minus 12. So they started the round 52 points ahead on for and against, which is almost like an extra point at this stage of the season. The kick's gone wide, but yeah, if South don't win, they'd be needing an absolute bloodbath tomorrow at St John Oval. I did think earlier in the day, you could say that if this match had been, say, a Lakes win but a bit closer, you might have seen Central celebrating a try like they'd won a grand final when they're 50 points behind, just because it had got them ahead on for and against. But that's a long way off happening at the moment. And this might have been taken over there by Scott Briggs. No, it's been taken by Josh Charles. He's a serious candidate for man of the match today. He's been terrific. I know it's early in the day to be talking about that, but he's been very strong and done a bit of damage and scored a couple of tries. And so away come Lakes. They've got their tails up here. And now there's some very bizarre tackling technique, this sort of thing you'd see from Conor McGregor in the UFC. Holding him up and just smacking his arm. He looked like he was giving him the cane or something. But again, there they are on halfway. This second half's been very good for the grasp, because from the 30-metre line to the try line, South haven't been able to get there. The game's been played from the 40 onwards. As here's the kick downfield. Got a bit ragged at the end of that set for Lakes. And Widders brings it back. He's got plenty of pace, but it's a good line. And the South forwards now are a bit slow to get back.
Well, if South's got any hope, they're going to have to score within, I think, the next 2 to 3 minutes, because there's still a quarter of the game to go, a bit over a quarter of the game to go, so there's plenty of time to put a few tries on. But they're just this first half of this second half, this first 20 minutes, it's just been all Lakes. I don't think South have even got out of their own side of the half, but let's see what they can build, and if they get a little bit of balls, let's see what they can do in the opposition 20.
So it's Kurt Warden who steps into rather uncharted territory, bringing the ball inside the Lakes half, and there's a chip back in field. Tamata's going to get this bounce, and he stuck it on the boot, but he stuck it more on the floor than he did on the boot, and it's a shame because they were away. But here's Varker, and if he doesn't make this tackle out wide, he's away. Christie didn't make the tackle. Varker is away. He gets it inside to Mackin. Lakes are going to win. They're going to score behind the posts. They're going to go 28-4 in front with a kick to come, and you can hear the chants and the cheers all the way from Dudley and Charlestown, because it looks very much now like South's season is over, and it's 28-4 to Lakes.
Well, totally against the running, and I think that was a pretty good showing of what the game's been like. I wouldn't say Lakes by any means have been dominant or have been perfect in the way they've been playing. I think their coach will be certainly disappointed to a certain degree of how they've played today, but they've managed to get out to 28-4, and yeah, as you said, I think that's South all done for a season. I think the coach has realised that, and he's come off for a sub after a pretty well-earned break. He's tried his hardest out there, and full credit to the South players. They've really worked hard. I think the fullback there almost had mission impossible to try and start Varker, and then at the same time he made this terrific leap to try and catch the ball and take an intercept.
Yes, it was Tim Christie who had the tough task of trying to take down James Varker. And Varker really, he won by knockout. He went straight past him. And from there, it was only ever going to be a try. 30 points to 4. Lakes lead it. 10-4 at half-time. South started the half a minute away from getting their full complement back. And three quarters of the game over now. They find themselves needing 5 tries to win. Well, this might help. They're going to get the ball back, are they? No, they're not. And Joe Layton kicks the ball away in frustration. It's a knock-on from Souths. And a Lakes feed. There's plenty of invective coming from underneath the grandstand here. There's a few people not best pleased with what's going on. There's a few people heading out as well. Possibly people going to see the Knights tonight. They might be trying to get a jump on the traffic. We don't have that luxury, of course, calling the game.
No, we're here till the bitter end. I guess bitter if you're a South fan.
Yeah.
But if what Chris Adams just did in that last play, if that's indicative of what's going to happen, well, we might see a bit of football still to be played, because Chris Adams, no reason to look to try for the overlap, but still, almost got a breakaway for them.
Yeah, straight away off the kickoff, just going down the short side and trying to attack. It's a sign of intent that Lakes might try and enjoy this and put a few points on. If so, there could be some terribly entertaining play, as here goes Adams scurrying out a dummy half. And they look into the right. Mackin, who's had a lot to do today, played a great role. Here's Ikanofo. And he's lost that one, I think he has. In the end, South's... sorry, do go on, Matthew.
Oh, no, I just thought but by the way he was gesturing, I thought he was gesturing that it was a South's knock on.
Oh, it might have been knocked out. It did come pretty much straight down, and Sullivan's got the ball in his hands. You may well be right. South season really has suffered for its late form. After beating Maitland in round 10, they've lost 36-10 here to Central in what will probably prove to be the crucial result. Then 52-18 to Cessnock. And finally 14-10, last week to Macquarie. And losing 3 in a row heading into the semis made them vulnerable. As here goes Hayes. Central, by contrast, well, they've just kept winning. They've knocked off Cessnock, they've knocked off Lakes, and of course Souths to get into this position where now they're the favourites to go into the semis.
Well, who would have thought that halfway through the season? Central, I think, was sitting at the bottom, if not second last. For
Certainly
a lot
were.
of the
Here's Murray, gives it short to Harton. Yeah, they were bottom of the table for much of the season until they started winning. South have been on 12 points since round 10. And in those last 4 games, Central have gone from 6 to 12 and South have stayed on 12, and their points difference has gone backwards at 1,000 miles an hour, and that's where they find themselves now. And that's ended up being called held up, so Harton's got to take the ball back. Andrew Ryan's warming up. He's got the 8 in his hand. He's going to come back on. Here's Murray. Murray's going to put it on the toe. It's not a bad angle on the kick too, because he's coming through out there. But it's a knock on, and South are going to get it back.
Well, I think the wrong and did the Lakes player who was running onto it, who I think might have been to Sachs.
I think it was Callan Adams in the 15 who came through.
Big wrong in there off Brad Murray's kick, and just jumped the other way, and just he stuck a hand on it, but couldn't get both mitts on it. But I have to agree with what you said. I dislike playing cricket here immensely for a few reasons, but absolutely terrific place to watch rugby league from, and you can see all the way out. Pretty good view. You can get a nice view of the what I assume is the Anzac Walk.
Yes, that's right. Yep, up there. Yeah, you're quite right. I didn't even look up there. You're right. The Anzac Walk. Of course, people who aren't familiar with cricket here, like myself, might not realise that the bike track is part of the field. So you can be on the boundary, standing on a bike track to field a cricket ball, which I'm sure must be lovely in the middle of summer.
And it's also very nice with metal spike shoes on.
Yep. Yeah,
good for metal spikes too.
Yeah, my word. Now, Andrew Ryan has decided to try his hand as a halfback very late in his career. And it's probably better he played in the second row, because that one's gone into touch on the full. So Lakes will get it back. The sting's sort of gone out of the game a little bit. All that scrapping and bluing sort of stopped as well.
I guess the other thing we haven't really considered out of this victory is the fact that Lakes might snatch the minor premiership. Or they'll be close to it, won't they? I think have they gone to the top with this victory?
Well, you're testing out my mathematical skills now, dear oh dear. Let's have a look. Points difference 43. West points difference is 72. As here's Josh Charles with the ball. So they're 26 points in front now, so they're 3 away. They're another try and they'll be on top of the ladder. Here's Adams out the back there, and Andrew Ryan showing all the desire that you would expect of a professional like himself. Falls on the ball. But they're going to say knock on South, I think, here. I think Lakes might get this back. Yes, so Wests are on 72 points difference. Lakes are on 43. So they're 29 points behind them. But the important thing, of course, is that it would require Wests to lose tomorrow, because Wests are 2 points ahead of them on the table. So if Lakes were to put another try on here and West were to lose tomorrow to Central, then Lakes would be the minor premiers.
Well, it would all depend on what size the losing margin was tomorrow if West were to lose, because it's close enough that it's only 3 points difference. So if West lose by 4 tomorrow, well, their points differential will obviously decrease. So they're pretty much within striking distance. They just need really West to lose tomorrow and not be by 1 point.
Well, if they score another try or something here, they could yet, the way things are going here, they could push the margin out a bit more. As here they go. South, that is. A big shout for offside there, or the marker's not being square, but it wasn't given. Now Tamata out of dummy half, and Briggs, nice flat ball there to Strickleton. And they're looking right again here. Strickleton might be a bit sore. He's gone headfirst into the cricket pitch. And the headgear might not have done all it was supposed to, as they're going to have to pass it here. And poor old Lippiett gets dragged down on last tackle. It's been that sort of day for South, especially in this second half. And it's turned over rather meekly in the end, over on this near side. Despite the fact that Central probably don't need to win tomorrow to make the semi-finals, I'm sure it'll be a big crowd out there at St John Oval. They'll be keen to celebrate what's gone on so far this season, particularly in the last few weeks. That was almost an auxiliary mousetrap there, an accidental mousetrap.
Yeah, it was like he played the ball to someone to his right rather
That's
than
right.
directly
And here they
behind
go
him.
all of a sudden. Here's Burgess. They've got
been
a roll
really
on
good
Lakes.
today, Burgess.
He has. Now there's a strip. There's a strip there from the 10, Brendan Simpson, and Lakes are going to get the penalty. And so Murray's going to bang this into touch. few people starting to head out of the ground who've seen enough with 15 minutes to go or 13 minutes to go. As here comes Hayden Jeans. He's been terrific for them. He signed from Curry in the off-season, and he's done a really good job for them so far this year. He'll be very important to them in the finals as well. And now here's a good run. And it's Rob Mason. DeSax is playing dummy half. Now here's Murray. That's good play. That's lovely play. And they've reeled it in there before Varka could get a glove on it. It's Joe Layton who's taken it on this near side. And South are going to come straight back at them. But the idea from Murray and from from Sullivan, pardon me, was very nice.
Yeah, good football all around. I thought Layton's work there was pretty terrific. To be able to get his hands on the ball and then actually stay in the field to play was very well done.
Bit of concern here. Jay Sullivan called straight to the referee to call time off there. They knew something was up. I think it might be Brendan Simpson in the 10 who's down. He's getting up now. But there was a bit of concern for him. He's up. And play goes on. Here's Kurt Warden. And they're looking for Andrew Ryan here, and he takes it up. Away to Tamata. Tamata's got him going backwards here, and this is where he could be dangerous. He goes down now, Ryan. And they're throwing it wide here to Briggs. And Briggs will look to run this on last. You'd imagine he was calling inside there. And he's eventually come back inside as Lydiot. And it's kicked over the top. And Varka takes it very well. And brings it back. And suddenly Lakes are counter-attacking. And this is all of a sudden got a bit of a basketball feel to it. The sides are coming at each other and going and coming and going. And Mackin throws the pass to Jeans. Getting through plenty of work, Hayden Jeans. And now it's the centre in the 3, Josh Charles. Ikanofo. The back's doing the work here for Central, for Lakes, pardon me. Well, for Central as well, I suppose.
Yeah, it's one and the same today, and I think...
That's right, as the kick's gone through here from Sullivan and the ball goes down. And they're going to say play on, so South can keep it. "11 minutes to go here. The 4 o'clock chill hasn't really hit too hard today. It hasn't been too chilly. It's getting to that part of the year where it's less vicious as Briggs has thrown an offload. And Lakes come up with it again. And this has been the familiar story of the game. Lakes, oh dear, what a pass. And they're going to throw it wide here all of a sudden. Harton had a chance to throw it to Varka. And that was one of the least advisable dummies you could possibly throw because Varka, he had 20 metres to run into there. They've attacked down this side with plenty of success, particularly in the second half. Now there's a stoppage. Bit of an arm injury here. Doesn't look real good either.
Possibly broken wrist or something.
Yeah, I think it's going to be Simpson. I think it's Simpson again who's gone down with it. Just can't quite catch his number. Oh, no, it's not. It's Higgins.
No, I think Simpson has already gone off the field. I think
you're quite right.
Looks like he's being tended to by one of the trainers.
Yeah, those numbers on the back of the South jersey are quite hard to pick because they're all very narrow, so it's hard to pick one number from the next. Now here they go to Burgess. Oh, that was a high tackle, but he spun away from it. DeSax is in at dummy half. Out the back there to Murray. Murray sticks it on the boots. Lovely kick to Harton. And Harton might get the ball down. He has. Lovely from Murray because he basically stabbed it into the ground so that it would pop up. And Harton ran onto it and fell over the line to score.
Well, I don't know if the Lakes supporters know actually how crucial that try was. I think actually our central mate here is informing some Lakes fans about the significance of that try. And the fact is that their points differential has gone past West. So if West were to lose tomorrow, if there was no further score, unless Lakes score some more, if South weren't to score for the rest of this game and West were to lose tomorrow, well then Lakes will have won the minor premiership.
Yes, that's right.
Which is a fantastic turnaround from a club who was, for a number of years, has really, really struggled to get in all aspects, I think, financially and in terms of player numbers and performance, have struggled across all facets of their performance to have gone to almost be within shouting distance of the minor premierships. A phenomenal turnaround.
Well, as Murray puts this kick over, that sends their points difference now to plus 75 against plus 72 for West. So if West lose tomorrow, Lakes will be minor premiers. As it stands at the moment, how about this for an achievement? Lakes are second in all 3 grades. First grade, they're currently second. They're second in reserve grade, and they're second in open grade. So if, assuming West do win tomorrow, the next week at Carl Oval, you would see all 3 grades of Lakes hosting semi-finals on the same day in front of their home crowd.
And that's going to be a big advantage to have all three teams in the finals, all at the same ground, all on the same day.
I reckon it might not only be an advantage, but I reckon it might get the crowd there early in the day. It might be good for the bar and the canteen.
I think that'd be a good day to go watch football. If you want a good day of football, I think that to see 3 Lake sides run out next week would be wouldn't be one to miss.
So Casey Burgess, he's been very strong again today. I want you to get thinking about man of the match here, Matthew. We've got 8 minutes to go. But
it's going to be hard.
There's a few candidates today. And this is Mason. And Sachs gives it away to Murray. Sullivan. And that must be Mackin, you can tell because of the pace, and he gets it inside to Ikanofo, and that's good play from Ikanofo, but he got it inside and it ended up landing on his stomach and going into touch. Hasn't Mackin been accelerating up into the line?
Yeah, him and Sullivan, deadly combo with Murray there, throwing it either out the back to Sullivan or Mackin. Both of them, incredible turn of speed and quick on their feet. Yeah, in terms of men of the match, there's a few. It could almost go to nearly any of the Lakes players. They've been very, very good today. I think that first half they'd be a little bit disappointed with their performance, not to have almost won the game in the first half. I really thought they could have scored 4 or 5 tries, the amount of opportunity South gave them, but just didn't capitalise enough, I don't think, and it could have turned out a lot worse than it obviously has. You obviously can't criticise a side who's winning 36-4 with 5 or 6 minutes to go.
You're right, though. They might, despite being up at half-time, they probably got a razz from the coach because they dropped a lot of ball in the first half, threw away their chances. They haven't done that second half. They've taken them. Now, here's Piccioni for South.
It's been a bit of a season for South of what could have been, because for a long time, that first half of the competition, they were very good.
What a good hard run this is. What a run this is from Luke Higgins. He's just busted through that gap. You could see he was coming off the back fence and steamed through and took 40 metres off them. And now all of a sudden they go to the right. Here's Tamata. Tamata's got pace as he hits the line. Geez, he gets the arm free away a lot. Now here's Witters. Witters jinking. And 10 metres out he's dragged down. Briggs is in at dummy half. Onto the toe. He was looking for the post pad. He hasn't found it. And they're going to get away with Jay Sullivan. And Sullivan's taken down, so Lakes can start a set from a metre out from their own line as time ticks down. 5 minutes 45 to go.
Yeah, as I said before, it could have really been a missed opportunity for Southie here. They're in such a good position for the first half of the season. And I think probably not losing Anthony Watts in his first game, I think within the first few minutes he was on the field, to have Anthony Watts and Tamata in your side, they would have been very deadly in this back end of the season. But again, it just wasn't to be, and they'll be very disappointed with how they've finished the season.
Well, you've got to remember they could have had Riley Brown as well. Riley Brown was injured in the first trial of the season, broke his leg out, or ACL out for the season.
It's 3 pretty handy guys to have.
Star signing. And you're absolutely right. At one stage, the top 4 were level on points. West, Lakes, South and Cessnock. As it is now, South have fallen right out of the pack and are going to finish 6th. As here's Briggs. And they're still trying to use the ball. Oh, look at that from Andrew Ryan. That was a lovely play. He might have a future as a 5'8" yet.
He's been promising. He's shown a little bit today.
You reckon he might make a career out of this rugby league business?
Yeah, I think he might. Oh, bad tackle there.
There's a knock-on given against Kurt Warden.
A little bit of sympathy there for Kurt Warden. It looked as though he'd gone over the parallel and he'd kind of just tried to brace himself, and I thought for sure it was going to be a penalty. I thought he went over that horizontal.
Well, the scrum's going to form up here. 4 minutes to go. And it's Craig taking it forward. He'll be watching the replay of this game, I'd imagine, to see his try again from the first half on this near side in the corner. One of the highlights of the match. I think Mackin's overhead pass will probably just do it for play of the day, though. As Jeans is looking for a pass here. Now Harlow. He scored that barnstorming try to put them to 20-4. That was really the sinking of the slipper in the second half. Now Murray. And Murray throws a big long ball over the top to Varka. Hard to stop from there. You'll notice James DeSax is playing hooker. Chris Adams has gone off. He's been off for about 5 minutes, giving him a rest before the semis as the kick's over the top to Mack, and he'll fancy this, but he hasn't got it. Witters has taken it. And away comes South. It's a festive atmosphere here at South, despite the result. We've got Maltesers being passed around the grandstand. Our Central fans looking very content to my right. There might have been a bit of anxiety at half-time, but he's feeling okay. As Andrew Ryan comes forward. And now there's a bit of interplay, and that's Higgins again. He's looked very impressive. Has done for a couple of weeks, Luke Higgins. But the play finally comes to nothing. It was around the head there from Josh Charles. There's a bit of stench over there. And finally it's stuck on the boot.
That could be a 40-20.
It's a big chance if it bends the right way. It's going, it's going. Oh, yes! It's a beauty. It's a ripper of a kick. And I think it's the 14 Ryan Glanville on the field, or Glanville, pardon me, on the field. And he stuck it into touch.
Was it inside or outside the 40?
No, it's a 40-20 for sure. Yeah, you can tell because, yeah, they're going to have the tap because the Lakes player tried to keep it in. And that's always Jack Mackin. It's always a pretty good sign. He tried to keep it in and couldn't.
I don't know how many kicks Ryan Glanville's had this season, but maybe he needs to kick more often.
Well,
that was a terrific kick.
They might be looking at him for the halves next year. As here they go to the left. Scott Briggs trying to put on a try late on here.
This would be crushing for
Lakes and their points difference. Very good point. No pun intended. As there's Glanville. Oh, look out. He's all over the game. He's throwing the ball out the back as well. They're looking left and looking right. They go flat. And that's a pretty simple play to Higgins. He scored a try quite similar to that against Cessnock a few weeks back. And Liam Higgins in at dummy half. Now Briggs, Tamata, Andrew Ryan looking for a try that he'll be able to tell everybody about. When it's out the back. Now Tamata. Tamata stepping. Lovely bit of skill. Lovely bit of skill. Even better bit of skill there. Lakes player. I think it's Jay Sullivan there.
Yeah, I think it is, yeah.
Who's been in the right place quite a few times in this second half, particularly swept onto that, picked it up with one hand and disappeared. And Charles out of dummy half. Time ticking away, 20 seconds to go in the game.
And I'm sure the Lakes players realise what the points differential was going into this game.
Oh,
I think
there's a knock on there. Well, the points difference might cop a bit here. There's 13 seconds to go. They're going to try it. Witters has been taken out of it by Brad Murray. That's a professional foul every day of the week. And if this was a bit more competitive of a game, there would be a lot of controversy about that tackle.
I think it almost send off, but I don't think
sin bin,
with zero seconds to go, I don't think it's going to matter too much.
Well, time's up. Are they going to take this tap? I think they are. It's called to take the 2, which is an interesting idea. I don't know what.
Take the 2 and give it to Bobcat.
34-4, 36-4, pardon me. I don't know what good the kick for touch would go. Higgins is going to have a crack at them here. Murray's going to hold him, and that'll be the end of that. There's a bit of a cuddle to win the game. And, well, South have taken it. They've lost today. They're out. Their season, you would imagine, would be over. Central with their points difference of -12. South now with a points difference of -86. So you would imagine 96. So it will take an 84-point victory for West tomorrow to force Central out of the semi-finals. Lakes have got the job done. They did what they needed to do. They've won, and they've gone ahead of West on points difference. So if West don't win tomorrow, Lakes will get the minor premiership. Matthew, your thoughts on the game and a man of the match?
Yeah, I thought Lakes in that second half showed, I guess, the calibre and the quality of their side. They really looked like a side that deserved to have won the minor premiership. I thought the first half, I would have been very disappointed, I think, with how they played. They weren't consistent. They didn't execute well enough, but you can't be too critical of a side that's won by over 30 points. So I think South's pretty poor performance. They obviously needed to chance their hand a lot. They just never really got into the game, I felt. I thought that 10 minutes where Scott Briggs was actually off the field was the best 10 minutes of the game.
For sure.
And I think it was because they had their backs against the wall and they knew they had to really dig in and try hard. But look, I guess in terms of player of the match, you could almost give it to all the Lakes players. I thought Adams was good as always. Murray was good. Mackin at the back was very good. I thought their forward pack, I thought especially Casey Burgess was absolutely terrific, but I think I'd have to give it to the 5'8" in Jay Sullivan.
Yep, okay. Well, I tell you what, it's very, very lucky that we're not doing the live game today and we don't have the Das Hundhaus man of the match with the $50 voucher, because we might have had to print more off after that. We've got that man of the match selection.
We've got the leg of ham in the car that we give out.
You've sat on the fence hugely, but you've given it to Jay Sullivan. Fair enough. I reckon that's about right. He did have a very good game, and I agree with all the players you mentioned there. Well, that's about it for us. South, their season's finished. They're congregating, talking over the wreckage down there on about the 40-metre line. It's been a disappointing season for them in the end. Any season you don't make the finals is pretty disappointing. Lakes, well, they've got to have a rest for a couple of days and get ready for a big game next week, you would imagine. And it's been a terrific season for them. That's about it for the Real NRL for today. Thank you as always for your company. Thank you, Matthew, for your company throughout the season. I suspect we'll be hearing more from you during the finals. Well, I certainly hope so. And, well, this is Morgan Campbell signing off from Townsend Oval, where Lakes have got the chocolates today, 36 points to 4.
Real guys, real sport. Bar TV.
It doesn't matter if you do it in a man cave, in your van, on your couch, with a painted face.
South Sydney!
Whatever it is, just get behind your team.
Newcastle!
Go the Knights!
Go Para!
With your favourite cold one in your hand. Our passion, our game, our beer. Tui's new, for the love of footy.